Hi everyone, this is Gladys from Gladys Creations Part 2. Welcome to my channel. Today's a special day for me because it's my very first DIY video I'm sharing with you. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Make a comment. It helps me grow by letting me know things you like, don't like, or just telling me a little bit about yourself, or if you have any questions that you need answered about what you're viewing. Subscribe so you're notified every time I post so you don't miss out on any of the fun. And as always, sharing is caring. You know that. So today's video is about $3 tree bunnies that I will be giving them 3 different styles, and we should be working with them all at the same time to save some time. Okay? So let's get on with the craft and party and have some fun. See you there. Okay, here we have our first little bunny. We're going to take this little bunny and we're going to get some Mod Podge, the matte finish. Okay, and this is the Mod Podge that we're going to be using. And I'm going to use a fan brush because I like to apply my glues with fan brushes because that gives it a nice smooth texture, because if not, you'll get like lumps and bumps and bubbles, and that gives a good, nice, smooth application. So I'm going to apply it all over the bunny, and I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'm just going to show you how much I start with and see, and that's it. And that's how much I apply, okay? So I'll see you when we're done with that. Okay, here we applied all the Mod Podge, and this is the fur that I used. Okay, it's from Dollar Tree. It's a brown fur, and we're gonna just lay it over it, smooth it out really nice and smooth. Make sure you rub it in really good. Okay, so the glue goes into the fur, because this is kind of thick, so it might not take, and we might have to apply heat to it. So we're gonna set it to the side for a little bit until it soaks in and adheres a little. Then we're going to be moving on to our next bunny here. And this one is going to be the one that we're going to decoupage with tissue paper. I printed out this tissue paper from Dollar Tree tissue paper. And I'm cutting it out with scissors right now. Now I'm just going to quickly show you how I separate it from the regular copy paper that I taped it to. All right. And then after that, I'm going to lay it down on the bunny to show you how I'm going to be applying it and where I want it kind of sort of like at. And then I'm going to cut that piece out. Okay. So there you go. See, I'm just showing it where I want it to be exactly. And that's approximately where I want it to be. And it's going to go a little bit over on the tail, but that's okay. But I'm just cutting it out there. And then I'm showing you, I always rip my paper because I don't like finished edges, and it helps with blending when you decoupage, okay? So then I'm going to get my decoupage here. It's just a matte finish because we don't need anything glossy for now. And I'm going to add it up to where I showed you just now. And I just apply thin coat, and then I'll be right back with the next step. And there we are, and it is all done, and it's a little bit tacky here, so we're going to leave it to dry because we're going to do a different method of decoupage there. Now we're getting on to our next project, okay? And this one, bunny, we're going to be using regular copy paper, and I'm going to go over how I cut copy paper. And what I do there is I get a little dish with water and use a brush, and I'm going to show you at a quick magical, video editing speed, okay? Because, anything to save a little bit of time. I don't want to have you here forever, okay? It's pretty simple. All I do is just wet it and just rip it all around the edges, and that is just like the main piece. And then we're going to just set it to the side, and don't worry that it got all blurry like that. So right now I'm showing you the cardboard piece that we're going to be attaching to the top of this one, because this is going to be a multimedia bunny. And here I'm going to show you now how I take a scissors or whatever I have close by that's pointing, and I just rip off the top layer, and you'll see there how I pull back the top layer after I do that. And that's all to it. It's just doing that, and then it'll expose those ridges, and they're fun to work with. It gives a lot of texture to your work. And after I do that, I'm going to be getting then wood glue. And the reason why I use wood glue is because it gives a long time hold. It and it's, well, since we're working with cardboard and wood, it'll give you the best connection. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just trim that little edge and shorten my little piece so it makes it easier to apply when I apply the glue. So we're going to be getting the glue now, and we're going to use the Gorilla Glue, okay, wood glue. And I like to apply my glues, like I said, with a fan brush, because it'll spread it smoothly, nicely, like I explained. And I want to try to stay away from the edges too. You'll see that when I start putting down the glue and spreading it, I go as close as possible to the edges, okay, and smooth it out. And then we'll be applying our cardboard on top of that, the direction that I want it to go. And then I'll be cutting it out, and then I'll get back to you then once I'm done doing that. So I won't show you all that. I won't take up a lot of your time here. But I pull out my iron and do all that stuff. So my iron's warm. So when we do the decoupaging with the paper, and also with the tissue paper, because we're going to be doing it for both. Okay. So now here, after I do this, okay, here we are. Now I'm done with that. Cut it all out. See, you don't see anything around the edges really. So now we're going to get my paper that we're going to be putting. And it's just some script paper that I got on online somewhere. You can type in online anywhere and get all kinds of free prints. So as usual, you see me here. I'm ripping the page because I don't like fine lines when I'm decoupaging. Very seldom I'll do that, what I did there, that I cut it. And that's only because I'm going to be blending that in. And when I blend it in, when I decoupage, you won't even see that finished edge, okay? So here we are. I'm going to put in the Mod Podge, and when I'm done doing that, I'm going to come back in. There we go. And we're going to place down, smooth all that out, okay, as best as we can. And then I'm going to pull out some parchment paper. And the reason why I use parchment paper is because, oh, well, I'm going to cut the edges first, okay? And then so it's not so big when I do that. But when we use the parchment paper, the reason why we use parchment paper instead of wax paper is that when you apply heat to wax paper, the wax will melt onto your work and it will not look nice. So we use parchment paper because parchment paper works well when you're decoupaging. So there I make sure I get all my corners and smooth it out, lift it up. There you go. And it's all nicely lined up. And then we're going to cut that out, sand it. Well, we're going to cut it out and just let it sit for a while so it dries a little bit better. And then we're moving on to our next bunny. And here we're going to do the decoupaging with the tissue paper. Now, this is a little bit different, okay? Because when you add the Mod Podge, you got to be very gentle with it, okay? And it's a little tacky still, so I'm going to apply heat with parchment paper on there. Okay, and I make sure I get all my corners and crevices and stuff. And then we're going to come and we're going to be, after I press all the corners in and everything, we're going to check the corners okay, and the edges, just to make sure that everything is attached right, because you want to make sure you do this before you sand and cut out, okay? So there I'm cutting out, and then I'm going to trim it as close as possible. And then I'm going to get my little sander here. Okay, and it's a zip sander, and you could get them anywhere. I got mine at Walmart for a couple dollars. And here you want to always sand forward, okay, in the motion that I just did. Never sideways because you'll rip your tissue, okay? And then you just keep sanding until it's smooth and get around your corners. And I'll be right back when I'm done with that. And there we are. We're all done. Okay, now it's the fun part. We're going to start now with our painting with blue cotton and white chalk paint. Okay, and we're going to do like a sky. So we're going to blend that all in, and with the magic of video editing, we're going to do this really, really fast. And there you see it blends in. Now, paint always goes on a little bit darker, and it'll lighten up afterwards a little bit. All right, so you see how I'm blending and making the white and the blue look like a sky. And I'm going to go all the way to the top, and with the magic of video editing, there we go. I'm all done. All right, then I'm going to take the edges of it, and I'm going to paint that all with the same brush in blue, making sure I get all my cuts and creases and going as smooth as I can, making sure I don't touch the tissue paper. And then, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm going to be doing the whole thing all the way around and the back. And there you go, voila. Now I'm going to set it to the side so it can cure for a little bit. And we're going to work with the painting our other bunny. Now here, we're going to be doing texture painting, okay? So I'm going to first smooth out everything, sand it down. And we're not going to paint over the bunny's tail like I showed you there. And here I have a little pan of spackle. Okay, I have a 5-gallon bucket. That's what I'm explaining to you there, that I separate and put some for my crafting. And I put it in a little bowl like that and put plastic over it to preserve it. Okay, here we're going to use buttermilk paint by Decor, and we're going to put like a tablespoon and a half there of paint. And then I'm going to take a little um spackle bowl mixer, and then I'm going to be mixing that, and then I'm going to use another one to get another tablespoon of it, mix that up. Okay, and we want a creamy substance like frosting, kind of like that. And we're going to mix that up really well. And instead of doing it with the spatula that I have in my hand, okay, we're going to do it with a brush because we want to tap it in. See how you see me blending it in to the paper, and then tap, tap, tap. That's the way that you're going to apply it, by tapping. Okay, and I'm going to do that all the way to the bottom. Then we'll leave it to cure. Now we're going to check our little fur friend here, and we did have a little bit of problems with it sticking, so we're going to put some parchment paper and give it some heat like I said we might have to do. And we're going to press in really hard and get into the corners and apply the heat really good. Make sure you do it nice and slow, okay? Then once that's done, we'll fluff it up again, check all the edges to make sure that it's all good. Then here, yeah, I pick at the tag, but I don't even do that right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to get as close as to the edge as possible because we can't sand this. So when I come back, it'll be all done. And then we're going to be applying the little eye. This little eye, I made it last night with Model Magic. Painted it black and white to give it a little bit of design. And then we're going to glue that right to the face, right there. And voila, it's all done. Okay. Then I'm going to take it with Waverly's hazelnut. I'm going to remove that sticker and paint it. And there you go with the magic of video editing. I did that quick. Oh, it's so soft. I love it. Okay, we're going to let that cure. Now we're going to go back to the other bunny. I applied a little bit of heat so it was dried. Okay. I never do the heating though. So you be mindful. Never do the heating. Let it cure and dry for a little bit before you apply heat because it'll cause bubbling, okay, on your paint with the spackle. So now I'm going to be doing some dry brushing in white. And I'm going to go up and down, sideways. And if you apply too much paint in one area, you could always wipe it off like I did there with a damp napkin or a baby wipe. Okay, and I'm going to apply it all the way to the bottom of the bunny. And then I'm going to be getting some antique wax here. And I'm going to be applying some of that. What I do is I use my cap. I just apply a little bit in there, and then I just wet the brush really well and then dry it back. And then just with an up and down and side to side motion, I apply that. And remember, if you add a little bit too much with a baby wipe or a damp wipe, while it's still a little bit damp, you can wipe it away, okay? And then after that, I'm going to be doing the sides to give it a little bit of texture and so it looks a little bit vintage, old. If you don't like that, you don't have to, but I like to. Now, we're going to take some Mod Podge with the gloss finish to give it a little bit of shine. So it looks more classy by having a little bit of shine. And then we're going to do the same thing with the blue and flowered one to give it a glass effect, like if you were looking through a glass window looking at the flowers in the sky. And I also do it on the sides. Okay, so it all blends in. And then we're going to set it down so that can dry. Now we're going to be creating these pom-poms, and this is fun. Okay, the pom-poms here, I have a pom-pom machine. I bought a set of 4 when AC Moore was open, but you can get them at any craft stores. Okay, and Dollar Tree has like the 2 smaller sizes. They have those. Okay, and we're going to use the second to smaller size. We're going to look for that clip and lift it up and bring those 2 bars and hold them together. Okay, to create the pom-pom. And what we're going to do is get the end of our yarn and we're going to place it towards the top. Pinch it down with my finger. Make sure you hold the bars. Wrap it, and we're going to wrap it around 3 times. So I'm going to go take it down to the bottom there, and then we're going to go 1 time, and we're going to go all the way to the end, wrapping it, and then we're going back again for the 2nd time, going back again to the beginning. And then we do it a 3rd time, going back again. And then when we get to the end there, okay, we're going to clip it at the top, okay? And once you clip it at the top there, then you push it back down into the circle and flip up the other 2 sides. Hold that. Do it the same thing again. Hold it at the top, wrap it to the beginning. And then we're going to wrap it around 3 times, okay? So there we go to the end. Wrap it 1. Then wrap it again the other way to the other end the 2nd time. And then to the end, we're at the 3rd row, and then we're going to cut it at the top. Right there. And then we're going to push it in, and then we're going to look where those 2 tabs were. We're going to go right in the center. There's a little slot there, and you run your scissors. Make sure you have a sharp scissors, okay? And you cut it right through all 3 layers, and make sure you get every little thread that it's all, make sure all of them are cut, you see, like right there. And then after you do that, you're going to lift Oh, you're gonna tie the string around the edge, and you're gonna pull it in there like that. And then once you do that, you're gonna tie it in 2 knots. There goes one, nice and tight. There goes two, nice and tight. Okay, and you're gonna do that. Then you're gonna pull the 2 tabs out and fluff it up a little bit. And then you're gonna pull it apart, and we'll have our pom poms. Shake it up, and there you go, cute as can be. And then you're gonna trim it up, and you have a nice fluffy pom pom. I find it very efficient to do it this way. With cardboard, it always bends and everything, so I don't like it. So I'm going to show you it once again. I'm going to attach the pieces back again together, and then I'm going to show you the same steps again. Okay, so watch, and this time I'll let you just watch instead of explaining it. Okay, now we're back again here, and we're gonna attach the bunnies, pom poms, the tails. Okay, and there goes my hair. I need a dye job. Oh goodness. All right, and we're gonna apply the bunny tails, and we're gonna put some hot glue there. And I do make a little bit of a mess with this one because I put too much glue and it falls out through the side, but that's okay. I'll clean it up. So we're at the end of the video now. All we're going to be doing is just attaching those bunny tails. There's going to be a part 2 to this video, okay? Because I didn't want to make this video drastically long. So I decided I'll do this one, give you a break, and then I'm going to be doing the second part fairly soon here. I should be putting that up in a couple days. Um, I'm gonna we're gonna be accessorizing our bunnies and giving them little baskets, and we're gonna have 3 different baskets, and we're gonna use 3 different textures and apply different things to each one of them, ribbons and all kinds of fun stuff. Okay, so be on the lookout for that video. If you have any questions that you want to ask me about with just comment. Okay, and here's our final reveal. Okay, and here you are, and Which one was your favorite? My favorite was the blue one. I really like that because I really like the outdoors. I'm an outdoors person. That one's my favorite one. But make sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll be gladly to answer any of them. Like, share, okay? Because remember, sharing is caring, okay? Comment, like I said, and I will always answer your comments. I will never leave you hanging. Um, Also subscribe so you're always notified when I post, okay, a video. All right. So remember, there's going to be a part 2 to this. So hope to see you again soon. Don't be a stranger. Thank you.